Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Okay, so before we get started, I want to put a massive trigger warning on this. I am going to be talking about pro and anti termination of pregnancy, to put it bluntly. It's only been a couple of weeks since the Death and Heard trial, and people felt like the Me Too movement had been pushed back 10 years. I disagreed. Now, this case, on the other hand, has pushed women's rights back 50 years. So, I have thoughts, and I always try to come with the harder hitting stories here to start a conversation. If you're interested in listening to this further, and you know there is a massive trigger warning throughout the video, please keep listening. Okay, so everything I say in this video is my opinion, mine alone. Please feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. With that being said, please do not attack or harass anybody mentioned in this video. I will say though, if people are attacking others in the comments, they will be deleted, and if necessary, they will be blocked. So let's do this. As I just said, I believe this is pushing women's rights back 50 years. Taking away a woman's rights to end an unwanted pregnancy is no less than chaining your wife to the sink. Can you imagine? And I'm not going to get into that one yet. Whilst doing my research to make sure I had all the facts straight on this subject, I came across a man, and he was celebrating this law. And what he said was, "We will not fully celebrate until abortion is fully eradicated from our lands, until family planning services, for example, are closed down and does not reopen. Then we can celebrate for sure." What's next? What comes next? Which law are they going to overturn next? Same-sex marriages? Rights to be classed as a legal woman when you were born male, or born female to become the person you know you are inside. There is no exemptions to these laws. There are some questions I would like to ask the people who are against terminations. I'm going to start with the easier ones. How many adoptions have you made to date? How many adoptions will you make from this date on? How many of these babies who wouldn't have been born for one reason or another are you prepared to adopt, to give a home to? What happens if the worst thing in the world happens to your 12, 13, 14-year-old daughter? Are you honestly prepared when your daughter has just been through the most traumatic thing she could ever go through in her life? And I know I don't need to say the word. To find out that she is pregnant. And because you are against terminations, she has to go through a very traumatic pregnancy. through a very traumatic labour that could even take her life. While she tries to terminate that pregnancy herself, maybe she'll throw herself down the stairs. Try to do with a coat hanger. God bless, I hope not. But what if? Ask yourself these very serious questions. What if? Because it could happen. It has happened. Just look back at history. Ireland changed their laws in 2019 in Northern Ireland. Until then, they were illegal. Terminations were illegal until 2019 in Northern Ireland. There were women who threw themselves downstairs. There were women who tried to end their pregnancy themselves with crochet hooks, knitted needles, coat hangers. And ended their own lives. How many more babies, newborns, would be found abandoned in public toilets? Wrapped up in bags in bins. This already happens now. 21st century. It's only going to get worse because of this law. To the people who are against terminations, are you okay with this? Have you even thought about this? About what this means? Now? To your daughters, your granddaughters, your great-granddaughters. We live in a very scary world. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But there was things we could prevent. Like a child having to go through a very traumatic pregnancy. Babies being abandoned, as they already are now. It wasn't that long ago that a young girl gave birth in her own bathroom. She took that baby, she wrapped it up in bags, she drove her car, put the baby in a bin and drove away. She was seen on CCTV and the car registration was traced back to her parents to find her laying in bed. Anything could have happened to her. She could have hemorrhaged. My heart breaks for the fact she had to go through that alone. I've given birth to 4 children. I am blessed with each and every one of them. But I wouldn't want to go through that alone in a bedroom. I wouldn't want to go alone through that in a bathroom. These young girls when they do these things, they're scared. For one reason or another, they're scared. And this law is only going to cause more fear. More babies found abandoned. And where do we find them homes? How many babies out there are waiting to be rehomed now? Already, before this law came in. I spent a number of years in a children's home. And it was full of young children. Who didn't have homes. Couldn't go home to their mum and tell them how their day went at school. Is this what we want from more children? To have to come home to people who work to feed you, to put you to bed at night. And then they change their shift and forget about you for so many hours until their next shift starts. It's just a wage to some of these people. But this law is a start. What's next? I don't even want to say to please like this video. I don't want to say there is nothing good you can end this video with. But I want to say thank you if you listened to the end. Leave a comment, tell me how you feel about this. Let's talk. Because I really don't know what to say. Are you for this law or against it? Are you ready for other laws to be turned back over? I don't know. So I'm just going to leave it here and say thank you. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. What are your thoughts? Where do we go from here? How do we protect these young girls? Good night, all.